Another week, another slate of NFL games to predict, and that is exactly what I'm here to do today. How's it going, everybody? I am Jason of Jason's Realm here, and today I'm here bringing you guys, me and the team's Week 9 NFL predictions. Let's go ahead and dive right into this. Alright, so we do not have HD's predictions in this week, but we will kick things off with Thursday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans going into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Kenny Pickett is a go for this game. I believe Will Levis is playing for the Titans. This will be a fun one to see, as it will be a back and forth of two young quarterbacks who have bright futures ahead of them. That being said, PDF taking the Titans, me and David taking the Steelers. I like the Steelers in this one because of their defense. You have Cam Hayward, who's been slowly working his way back, might be able to get in the fold this week. But you also have Alex Highsmith, you also have TJ Watt, that are all going to be getting in the face of Will Levis. And the Titans' offensive line is not known to being great. So that defense should be able to hold the Titans to, I would expect, around 10 points. I'm expecting it to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Steelers 13-10. Up next, we have one of the Frankfurt games, the Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this game will be very interesting, as the Dolphins have struggled to play up to good teams. And that leads to PDF and David taking the Dolphins, because the Dolphins are the hotter team right now. But I just see too many flaws in the Dolphins whenever they go up against legitimate contenders to think that they will actually win this game. Therefore, I am taking the Chiefs in this one, even though I really probably should go with Miami. Up next, we have the Atlanta Falcons playing host to the Minnesota Vikings, who are going to be without Kirk Cousins. Now, they did trade for Joshua Dobbs, but the question is, how quickly will Dobbs learn the system? I think the Vikings are going to be playing a very stripped-down and bare system. That being said, I feel like the Falcons will have more of a chance, especially if they play Marcus Mariota, whereas the Vikings are going to be struggling to find themselves an identity at all. So I am taking the Falcons on this one. PDF and David taking the Vikings. Up next, we have the Seattle Seahawks going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Now, this game going to be a clash of two playoff contenders here. The Seahawks 5-2, the Ravens 6-2. But I do think the Ravens are the better built team in general. And David agrees. PDF going with the Seahawks, me and David taking the Ravens. I just feel like the Ravens are the better team, and it's not even really that close when you look at it. The Ravens just seem to be better at every position than Seattle. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals going to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Now, the Cardinals might be having Kyler Murray back this week. If not, it is the rookie, I believe, Troon is his name. It ain't going to be fun for them. Now, I know Arizona. Arizona will play for about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes of football. They won't play a full 60 minutes. Cleveland, on the other hand, that defense can feast. They can do just about everything, and the Browns are hungry this season. So that being said, I am taking the Browns. PDF and David taking the Cardinals on this one, which I could see the Cardinals winning, especially because the Browns have been struggling offensively, but I just feel like defensively they will do a lot and do too much. Up next, we got a game that is very tough to predict, that it's going to make me want to rip my hair out on this one. The Los Angeles Rams going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Now, if Matthew Stafford were healthy, this would be a no-brainer Rams pick for me. But there is question marks. Matt Stafford is considered day-to-day with his UCL sprain. And that being said, I don't like the Rams' options after Stafford. They signed that guy, that Win guy, but it's not looking great. And with Stafford being day-to-day, even if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. So I'm playing the safety pick here and taking the Packers. Even though they did just trade one of their best corners in Rasul Douglas to the Bills, I still think the Packers are going to have a better chance because the Rams' offense will be inept if Stafford does not play. Even if Stafford does play, they will be handicapped. That being said, PDF agrees with me. David, though, is taking the Rams, and I had the Rams to start. But then whenever I saw Stafford was day-to-day, I had to make the change. Up next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Houston to take on the Texans. Now, David is taking the Bucs in this one. Me and PDF taking the Texans. The Texans have just been playing way too well recently. Except, CJ Stroud has been, really good. Now, he's had some issues where people around him have struggled. But I do think that the Texans will be able to snag a win. It will be close. It will be a bloodbath because Baker Mayfield plays well when he's the underdog in the league. But the Texans just seem to have a better quarterback. They have better play at quarterback. Their defense is solid and their offense is all right. So I feel like the Texans are just going to be just a hair ahead of the Bucs. Up next, we have the Washington Commanders going to New England to take on the Patriots. Now, this game is going to be interesting, especially after the Commanders had their fire sale. Now, I initially was going to go with the Commanders, but I am making a last-second decision while recording here to go for the New England Patriots. I feel like the Patriots offense had a good week last week. Defensively, Bill Belichick has proven himself with this unit. Even though they have had some key losses, I know the Commanders as well. They play up to the top of the top, and then they come crashing down against the worst. That is what it is here. They played well against the Eagles, then they lost to the Bears. Then they played well against the Eagles. This time around, I think they're going to have a reality check against New England. Sure, Sam Howell played out of his mind last week, scoring 30 fantasy points, but still, I just know that this team will play down to bad teams, and New England is a team that will capitalize if you play down to them. Up next, we have the Chicago Bears going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Now, the Saints have been an enigma this year. They play really well one week, the next week they struggle. Then they play well, then they struggle. Then they play well, then they struggle. It has been a constant cycle. Now, the Saints are back to 500, and I feel like, though, the Bears will sneak out a win. PDF and David agreeing with this one, because the cycle of the Saints is you play well, and then you play like garbage. They played well last week, now they'll play like garbage, and they will struggle against the Bears, who are going to be hungry to try to make something happen. They have the reassurance that the Panthers pick is theirs, and the Panthers are still going to suck, so they will have another top 5 draft pick this year. Up next, we have the Indianapolis Colts going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. This is Reich versus his former team here, but the Carolina Panthers just had their Super Bowl last week. They are going to struggle mightily this week, I do believe, as that Colts defense has played well enough, but the offense has been doing really well recently. The defense has been formidable to keep them in it, but the offense has done great. The offense has been putting up points, and I feel like that does not change against Carolina, and the defense will have themselves an easier time this week as the Panthers do struggle to put up points, so they should have a fairly easy win for Indianapolis coming up here, and PDF and David agree. Up next, we have the New York Giants, 2 teams. This is absolute tank bowl in the 425 slot here. The New York Giants taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. This is tank bowl right here, folks. And this is a team that just fired their GM and head coach in Las Vegas and benching their starting quarterback for the rookie against a team who has absolutely nothing going for them this season, that they are struggling mightily at every turn. Now, Daniel Jones is back, and I just feel like the Raiders are going to be too inexperienced with a brand new interim head coach coming in. I am taking the Giants on this one, but the other two are taking the Raiders, as the Raiders are the more established team. But I feel like the Raiders are going to struggle because of a new leadership. Up next, we have the Dallas Cowboys going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Now, this game is going to be interesting, to say the least. Dallas has been an enigma this year as well. They play really well. They're like Miami. They play really well against the bad teams. But then you put a good team against them, and they struggle mightily, especially that defense. So that being said, I feel like Philadelphia will get the win because they do have an offense that has been able to find ways to win. It hasn't been pretty, but they do find ways to get the win. Whereas the Cowboys have struggled against teams that find ways to get the win. PDF obviously taking the Cowboys this week, but David taking the Eagles with me. Up next, we have the cursed game going to Paycor. The Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. We all know what happened last time this game played. All we're hoping for is that the same thing doesn't happen again here. And it's just going to be an interesting game. The Bengals have been getting themselves back on track, but they have not proven that they can beat a team outside of the NFC West. Now, that being said, the Bills have been somewhat back a little bit, and I expect the Bills to just take this week to prove to the league that they are legitimately back. They did get Rasul Douglas off of the Packers, which is a huge add for that secondary, and I feel like this team is just going to be able to do just enough to edge out the Bengals, and I feel like the Bengals struggle this week. Whereas PDF is taking the Bengals and David is also taking the Bills. Last but not least for this video, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. God help us, that's not going to be fun to watch. I don't know if we go live for that one. We'll try to go live for maybe half of the game on that, but it's going to be disastrous. The Chargers offense just not really getting the job done. Defensively, they are a mess. The Jets offense is an absolute garbage pile, and the defense will make the Chargers offense look like crap as well, because the Jets defense, that's what they do. They take any team, any elite offense, and make them look embarrassing on any stage. National television down to the local television level. Now, that being said, I do think that the Chargers offense will be able to get just enough done. Zach Wilson has been in a little bit of a slump. But that being said, you know what? Once again, I'm having another change of heart here while recording. I'm not liking the Chargers as much. I feel like in the Jets' house, the Jets will be able to rebound off of a bad wet last week. So we're all taking the Jets on this game. Well, that's about going to do it for me today. If you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe. It does help me out a whole lot. It tells me that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. Also, at the time of recording, we are only 6 clicks of that subscribe button away from hitting the big 400 mark. So if you could help us out big time by smashing that subscribe button down below, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I guess with that, make sure you check out our power rankings video down over here, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.